evening. You're watching the News Tonight with me, Ishan Russell. The News Tonight is all about the day's biggest developing stories from India and around the world, and we'll be filling you in on them over the next half hour. But first, the headlines we're tracking right now. Former Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh comes out in defense after former tri-chief's allegations, says he never used office to benefit himself, slams the NDA government for just renaming UPA schemes and taking credit for them. Rahul Gandhi continues his criticism of the NDA government, blames it for working against the interests of farmers. Prime Minister retorts, says Congress is yet to digest its massive defeat of last year. The Delhi Assembly adopts a resolution against the centre's notification, the centre escalates the ongoing tussle over the role of the Lieutenant Governor and decides to challenge the matter in the Supreme Court. Intense heat wave worsened by frequent power outages across the country. Over 1,200 deaths reported. No respite in sight for at least a few more days. And 6 FIFA officials, including vice presidents, held on corruption charges. This just days before the football world's governing body elects a new president. The top story this evening, former Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh came out with a strong defense about his role in the 2G scam. This a day after former tri-chief Pradeep Baijal's allegations that he didn't prevent the scam from happening. Dr. Singh said he never worked to benefit himself or his family, and also hit out at the NDA government, saying that all it's doing is rechristening UPA schemes.
As far as I am myself concerned, I can say in all humility that I have not used my public office to enrich myself, to enrich my family, or to enrich my friends. And still the BJP government keeps on harping on the theme of corruption just because it wants to detract the attention of the people to non-issues.
Former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh defending allegations made against him by former tri-chairman Pradeep Baijal. On Tuesday, Baijal had alleged that the former Prime Minister had warned him of harm if he did not cooperate on 2G telecom licenses. The Congress backed Manmohan, saying Baijal was being used by the Modi government to defame the party.
I have been a minister with him both in UPA 1 and UPA 2. He never told us to do anything wrong. He's not made of that metal that, as a matter of fact, I can say is a most honest person. This particular officer is being used by NDA government just to defame the Congress party, to defame the Congress leadership and defame the former Prime Minister of India.
Manmohan Singh also launched a scathing attack on the NDA government. Taking a dig a day after the Modi government completed a year in office, he accused it of renaming UPA's policies and schemes and claiming credit for them.
Ladies and gentlemen, institutions of democracy are under threat. The entire edifice of the welfare state is now being dismantled. The guise of promoting faster economic growth, whereas they are two sides of the same coin. Many of our programs are now being repackaged and marketed as initiatives of the Modi government. What the BJP had opposed when we were in power are now being sold as its contribution.
However, BJP was quick to hit back, raising questions over Manmohan Singh's silence in the 2G scam and coal scam for so long.
श्री मनमोहन सिंह के नेतृत्व में ही इस देश में 12 लाख करोड़ रुपया के घपले हुए थे। इसकी जिम्मेदारी से कांग्रेस कैसे भाग सकती? और जीरो लॉस की जो थियरी दिया करते थे, स्पेक्ट्रम में जीरो लॉस, कोयला में जीरो लॉस, आज भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार ने 229 खदानों का जो नीलामी किया, उसमें से 2 लाख करोड़ से ज्यादा रुपया मिला है। वही दर्शाता है कि लॉस हुआ था, भारी लॉस हुआ था और सीएजी की गिनती से ज्यादा लॉस हुआ था। खुद करप्शन न करना इतना कहने मात्र से बात समाप्त नहीं हो जाती है। प्रधानमंत्री से अपेक्षा है एक करप्शन रहित शासन पूरे देश को दें।
The former tri-chief's accusations come after similar claims by Manmohan Singh's former AD and media advisor Sanjay Baru and former Coal Secretary PC Parekh. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
A day after hitting out at the Modi government for being a soot boot ki sarkar, Rahul Gandhi today continued with the same theme on the second day of his Kerala trip. Now, in his meetings with fishermen and rubber planters, the Congress Vice President had a word of caution for the NDA government to be very careful who they pick a fight with.
First, a meeting with fishermen in Thrissur and then straight to Aluva for a meeting with rubber planters. Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi was at his charming, friendliest best on the second day of his Kerala tour, clicking selfies with the youth and hugging the old. At his meeting with the fishermen, he vowed to fight for their rights. In an apparent reference to the centre's decision to extend the trawler fishing ban to 61 days from 45 days, Rahul said his party would stand with the fishermen in their fight.
The Narendra Modi government does not understand who they are confronting. They think farmers are weak, fishermen are weak, tribals are weak, small business owners are weak, and they can be pushed aside. And I am telling them from this stage that they should be very, very careful who they pick a fight with.
On his second stop in Aluva, Rahul Gandhi met with rubber planters and heard out their problems. He also used the visit as an opportunity to hit out at the Modi government, accusing it of being anti-poor.
Anybody who's weak, who is struggling, is not happy with this government. And as I've said many times, the 5 or 6 powerful friends of the government are happy. They are excited about what this government is doing. The rest of India is wondering what is happening.
As the NDA government celebrates 1 year in office, the opposition parties, especially the Congress, have intensified their attack on the government. The Congress Vice President's Kerala visit also played out on the same theme. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And Prime Minister Narendra Modi renewed his attack on the previous Congress-led UPA government, saying extra-constitutional authorities were wielding power during that regime. In an interview to PTI, he also rejected criticism of the concentration of too much power in the Prime Minister's office. Modi countered Congress's charges of his government being pro-industrialist. He said Congress has not been able to digest its crushing defeat in the Lok Sabha polls. He also expressed confidence on the passage of both the goods and service tax as well as the land bill soon. Meanwhile, Congress has rejected the Prime Minister.
Reject Prime Minister's charge that extra-constitutional authorities were running the government. The UPA government had Dr. Manmohan Singh as the Prime Minister, and it was he and the Cabinet, of which I was a member, we took all the decisions. Cabinet was never told what decisions to make.
The two-day emergency session of the Delhi Assembly ended today with the Aam Aadmi Party government adopting a resolution against the centre's notification about the Lieutenant Governor's power in Delhi. Now, Kejriwal government is alleging that the centre is trying to rule the national capital through the back door. The centre, though, has decided to escalate matters and take it to the Supreme Court.
The hostilities between the centre and Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal show no sign of flaming out. Terming the centre's notification illegal, the Delhi Assembly adopted a resolution against powers to the LG. His appointment of acting Chief Secretary Shakuntala Gamlan triggered the ongoing tussle.
मैं एलजी साहब से इतनी बार मिलता हूँ, एलजी साहब ने एक बार मेरे से ये नहीं पूछा अरविंद दिल्ली में बिजली का क्या हाल है, सबको बिजली मिल रही है, सबको रोटी मिल रही है, सबको पानी मिल रहा है, सबको सड़क ठीक ठाक. ट्रांसफर पोस्टिंग में बड़ा इंटरेस्ट है सबका. कुछ तो गड़बड़ है सर.
एनआरकी जो एक एनार्किस्ट वाला नेचर जो है वो साफ रूप से सामने नजर आ रहा है.
As Kejriwal government completed 100 days in office, a Delhi High Court order allowed the ACB to arrest corrupt central officials. It came as a shot in arm for Kejriwal in his bid to challenge centre's control over various matters in Delhi.
मेरी जितनी समझ है उसके हिसाब से तो मैं बिल्कुल सही हूं, अगर गलत होगा तो उसकी सजा भुगतेंगे.
आपको क्या लगता है कि बायस्ड हैं जो
बायस्ड हैं, एरोगेंट हैं?
However, the centre has decided to go to Supreme Court now. It is going to challenge the Delhi High Court order questioning MHA notification on Delhi LG's powers. With inputs from Anu Devan, Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, time for a quick break right now. Coming up on the other side, the government claims to have achieved the lowest ever power deficit in India's history. The Power Minister assures 24/7 power supply within 4 years.
Even amid the positives of 1 year of NDA rule, agriculture has disappointed. How has this sector performed, and what's the route map ahead? Watch the big picture at 9:30 p.m. on Rajya Sabha television.
Welcome back. You're watching the news tonight. Now, the death toll due to the intense heat wave across the country has crossed 1,242, with Andhra Pradesh and Telangana bearing the brunt as both the states account for most of the deaths. The Met Department has predicted rain and thunder showers in the coming 2 days as the first monsoon shower is expected to hit the Kerala coast by the end of this month, which could bring some respite.
As mercury hovers steadily over 40 degrees at several places, over 1,000 people have died due to intense heat sweeping across the country. The worst hit is Andhra Pradesh, where close to 900 people have died in the last 10 days. The toll is nearing 340 in the neighboring state Telangana. Most of the deaths in these areas are being caused by extreme dehydration and heat strokes. The State Department has advised people to stay indoors.
At few places, high temperatures are expected about 47 degrees. That is, severe heat wave conditions will be there in few places in coastal Andhra Pradesh for next 2 days. And in Telangana, for today and tomorrow, heat wave conditions are expected to be there around 45 degrees. As the dominance of westerly component increases, we will find more respite.
Rising temperatures in northern states have also claimed lives. At least 7 deaths were reported from Gujarat. In Ahmedabad, the temperature is expected to shoot up to 45 degrees in the next 7 days. In New Delhi, the intense heat wave conditions have put a massive burden on power infrastructure. Power cuts have also been reported across the country.
There are other long-term fundamental problems with the electricity and the water of Delhi that cannot be solved in 3 months' time. It will take time.
A continuous lack of thunderstorm activity for the last 10 days is also contributing to the increase in temperature over northwest and central India. Also, there is a heat transported from the western side.
The Met Department predicts that the heat wave is expected to continue for another 2 days before any respite. However, another hot spell is soon likely to follow. Once the first spell of monsoon hits Kerala coast on 30th of May, rainfall is expected in northern parts a week after. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And the government has claimed that it has achieved the lowest ever power deficit in India's history. Power Minister Piyush Goyal has vouched that India's power deficit has fallen to a record low of 3.6%. Celebrating his government's first anniversary, Goyal reiterated that India will have 24/7 power supply throughout its length and breadth by 2019.
In what could bring a much-needed breather from the power outages and the oppressive heat, the Power Ministry says that there has been the highest ever capacity addition of 22,566 megawatts since the Modi government took over. Power Minister Piyush Goyal even said that most parts of the country have surplus power, but states were not buying it to give their residents uninterrupted power supply.
That the highest ever generation capacity increase in the history of independent India was achieved last year. 22,566 megawatt of generation capacity was added last year.
Goyal, who also heads the coal ministry, said the government will open more than 60 coal mines to increase Coal India's production. The government aims to increase production from the current 60 million tons to over 100 million tons in the next 5 years.
आज परिस्थिति ऐसी है कि देश में कोयला भी पर्याप्त है, बिजली भी पर्याप्त है और आगे आने वाले दिनों में नवीकरणीय ऊर्जा से हम पूरे विश्व को एक नया एग्जाम्पल सेट करने वाले हैं.
Stressing on the need for solar power, Goyal said that many companies in the private sector have committed to produce 273 gigawatt of solar power. Even railways will soon be using solar power. Plans are also afoot to set up 40,000 megawatts rooftop solar energy power plants. Kriti Mishra, Rajya Sabha TV.
And the second round of talks between the Rajasthan government and the agitating Gujars remained inconclusive on Wednesday. The Gujars have been blocking rail tracks and roads in 3 districts of the state for a week now, demanding 5% quota in government jobs. Meanwhile, the Rajasthan High Court summoned the Chief Secretary and the Police Chief to act immediately to restore rail and road traffic.
The second round of talks between the agitating Gujars and Rajasthan government remained inconclusive. The government has promised Gujar leader to give a written proposal on their demand for 5% quota in jobs. A 13-member Gujar delegation met with a 3-minister panel at the Secretariat twice. The Ministers' Committee included Health Minister Rajendra Rathod, Social Justice Minister Arun Chaturvedi and Food Minister Hem Singh Badana.
सरकार के विकल्प खुले हैं और 2008 के मूल एक्ट के अंदर अगर कोई कमी खामी है तो उसे वैधानिक रूप से उसकी समीक्षा करने के लिए सरकार तैयार है. हमारे द्वारा दिया गया पत्र को लेकर अभी वो अपने नेता कर्नल बैंसला से सब लोगों से चर्चा करेंगे.
Meanwhile, as protesters continue to disrupt rail and road traffic for the 7th consecutive day, the Rajasthan High Court stepped in. The court pulled up the state government for giving a free hand to the agitators. Directing the Chief Secretary and the Police Chief to appear before it, the court also asked them to restore traffic immediately.
हम सबसे पहले तो आंदोलनकारी और उनके जितने भी नेता हैं उनसे कांटेक्ट करके उनको समझाइश करने का प्रयत्न करेंगे कि इस अवमानना नोटिस की पालना हाई कोर्ट की सरकार के लिए लाजमी होती है.
The Delhi-Mumbai rail track in Bharatpur, Agra-Jaipur National Highway in Dausa and a state highway in Savai Madhopur remains blocked, causing distress to commuters. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And for other national stories, let's take you nationwide. German Defence Minister Ursula von der Leyen is on a 3-day visit to India. On Wednesday, she visited Gandhi Smriti in Delhi. She was accompanied by the German ambassador to India, Michael Steiner. During her visit, Leyen will also meet Prime Minister Narendra Modi and hold bilateral talks with her counterpart Manohar Parrikar in a bid to improve defence ties. The Delhi High Court on Wednesday allowed Greenpeace India to use 2 of its domestic accounts to receive fresh domestic donations for its day-to-day functioning. The court also allowed Greenpeace to liquidate its fixed deposits, details of which it had furnished. The court pulled up banks for not following its earlier direction to allow Greenpeace to access its accounts. Priyanka Gandhi visited her mother Sonia Gandhi's constituency, Raebareli, today. She interacted with the villagers and reviewed development work in the constituency. She also hit out at HRD Minister Smriti Irani, who was in the constituency a day before. Sonia Gandhi is also scheduled to visit Raebareli on the 28th of May. Some international news now, and fresh fighting has been reported in the Gaza Strip. The Israeli Air Force conducted airstrikes at 4 suspected terror infrastructure facilities just hours after a cross-border rocket attack was reported. The rocket fired from the Palestine side struck Israel late on Tuesday. However, no casualties have been reported on both sides. Meanwhile, a report released by Amnesty International suggests that the pro-Palestine group Hamas has committed serious human rights abuses, including abductions, torture and extrajudicial killings of Palestinian civilians in the Gaza Strip in 2014.
Around 9 o'clock, there was a sound of an explosion. No sirens were heard, but we understand that apparently a rocket, a missile, was launched from the Gaza Strip towards our area.
And keeping up pressure on North Korea to rein in its nuclear program, the United States and its 2 Asian allies, South Korea and Japan, held trilateral talks in Seoul. They discussed ways to urge China to help North Korea back to the negotiating table. They expressed concern of the recent test fire of a submarine-launched ballistic missile by the North. South Korea warned the North that its isolation will deepen if it keeps its current position. North Korea has been heavily sanctioned with UN and US sanctions because of its nuclear and missile tests, a move that Pyongyang sees as an attack on its sovereign right to defend itself.
We agreed on the importance of enhancing pressure and sanctions on North Korea, even as we keep all diplomatic options on the table and open.
Our three countries, Korea, US and Japan, will cooperate very closely in consultation with China and Russia to respond effectively to the North Korean threats and to make progress in the denuclearization of North Korea.
And now some more international news in Global Buzz. 4 gunmen who tried to storm a guest house in the diplomatic area of Kabul, Afghanistan have been killed. The attack in Wazir Akbar Khan district of Kabul resulted in an overnight gun battle that lasted at least 6 hours. Taliban took responsibility of the attack. No civilian or military casualties were reported. Torrential rains have claimed at least 9 lives in Texas and Oklahoma and the United States, including 2 in Houston, where floods turned streets into rivers. Around 500 people have been rescued so far, most of them stranded motorists. The death toll is set to rise with several missing in Texas. The interim president of the Central African Republic, Catherine Samba Panza, met with French President François Hollande in Paris on Wednesday. The two leaders discussed the ongoing efforts to arrive at a settlement to the civil conflict that has killed thousands of people in the last 2 years. Well, time now for a quick break. Coming up on the other side, all the sports news. Sania Mirza has moved into the second round of the French Open with her doubles partner Martina Hingis. More on the French Open also on the other side.
Even amid the positives of 1 year of NDA rule, agriculture has disappointed. How has this sector performed, and what's the route map ahead? Watch The Big Picture at 9:30 p.m. on Rajya Sabha television.
Welcome back. You're watching the news tonight. Now, some sports and Swiss authorities have today arrested 6 FIFA officials, including both the current vice presidents, on charges of corruption. The arrests come as a fresh blow to FIFA, which has suffered repeated accusations of wrongdoing over the World Cup bidding process.
Just 2 days ahead of the crucial elections for the FIFA presidency, the sport has been hit by yet another scandal. 6 FIFA officials were taken into custody during a raid at a hotel in Zurich on Wednesday. The officials, including Vice President Jeffrey Webb, have been accused of receiving or paying bribes in millions of dollars. US federal charges include racketeering, money laundering and wire fraud and span 2 decades of misconduct in soccer's world governing body. They have been detained pending extradition to the United States.
Der FIFA-Präsident und auch der Generalsekretär sind nicht Beschuldigte. Sie sind nicht involviert in diesem Verfahren. Am Schluss einmal mehr, die FIFA ist die darunter leidet, ist das selbstverständlich ein schwieriger Moment.
Swiss authorities have also begun criminal proceedings into the awarding of the 2018 and 2022 World Cups. FIFA has suffered repeated accusations of wrongdoing over the bidding process for these World Cups, which were awarded to Qatar and Russia respectively. They are due to question 10 executive committee members who took part in voting in December 2010. FIFA said they are cooperating in the probe.
Die FIFA begrüßt diesen Prozess und kooperiert voll mit der Bundesanwaltschaft und dann entsprechend auch mit dem Bundesamt für Justiz.
However, FIFA said there is no change in plans to select a new chief. FIFA President Sepp Blatter, seeking a 5th term, will go head-to-head against Prince Ali bin Al Hussein of Jordan on Friday. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Time now for all the sporting action in Sportsbeat. Sania Mirza and a doubles partner Martina Hingis eased into the second round of the French Open. The world #1 women's doubles pair defeated Julia Georges and Barbara Siriskova 6-3, 6-0. However, men's doubles pair of Leander Pace and Daniel Nestor had to toil hard for their win. The Indo-Canadian pair won their opening match 6-2, 5-7, 7-5. 17-time Grand Slam champion Roger Federer had a comfortable outing in the second round with a 6-2, 7-6, 6-3 win over his Spanish opponent Marcel Granollers. His Swiss compatriot Stan Wawrinka also advanced into the third round. In the women's singles, defending champion Maria Sharapova recorded a straight-set victory over her fellow Russian Vitalia Diachenko. However, world number 3 Simona Halep was ousted in the second round. European Cup holder Sevilla will defend their title against Ukraine's Dnipro as the two teams will clash in the Europa League final in Warsaw tonight. Sevilla are favourites to lift the trophy for a record fourth time after scoring 26 goals en route to the final, the highest of the tournament. Dnipro has managed to score only 13 goals but have upset stronger opponents during the course of the tournament. Six-time Olympic gold medalist Usain Bolt claimed a comfortable victory in the men's 200 meters at the Golden Spike meet in Ostrava. The Jamaican clocked 20.13 seconds to beat American Isaiah Young for victory in his first European race of the season. With the victory, Bolt made it 7 wins out of 7 at the event. Well, that's the news tonight. Good night.